Now, the first point of consideration, the most distinctive aspect of the karambit, arguably, is the curved blade. The earliest examples of karambits, in fact, had the curved blade, but did not yet have the retention ring. The curved blade is one of these things that's often misunderstood, whether we're talking about knives or swords. A lot of people think that, the curved blade is superior for slashing and far exceeds the straight blade, and there are debates all over the place on this. Other people say that you can't possibly stab with a curved blade, or it's too limited in its use, and the back edge is not as effective, and so on. First thing to understand is that curved blades start appearing as a tool going back to the Neolithic period. We already have surviving examples of wood and stone flake sickles that go back to the Neolithic period. We then see them cropping up in many different ancient cultures as swords, various types of curved hook swords cutting with either the concave or the convex edge. We see them in Ethiopia, we see them in ancient Egypt, we see them in Greece. We certainly see them throughout the Tigris-Euphrates River Valley and throughout the Middle East, North Africa. So the curved blade is a very, very common tool shape that then evolves to weapon shape with great effect. It does allow, generally, cutting with the outer curvature. When the karambit, it's always with the concavity, with the inside. Most swords tend to focus on the outer curvature, which gives a smoother, longer cutting line, and which lends itself mostly to slashing. So curved blade attacks tend to be very large, huge hacking motions primarily, and it does provide less sort of recoil into the aggressor or to the wielder when they swing with them. We see this with Cossack sabers, even with something like a katana. There is a mild curve present in the weapon. But all of these weapons still maintain the capacity to stab. They absolutely are just as functional to stab, as we'll see a little bit later. Now, if we look specifically at Jakarta in Indonesia, where the karambit hails from, the karambit was originally inspired by the claw of a tiger. They looked to nature and they saw the effectiveness of the tiger's claw in shredding and in ripping, and so the earliest karambits were inspired by that. Later on, we see the karambit being associated in many cases with the god Hanuman, the monkey god, and so it is often referred to as a tiger's claw or the claw of Hanuman. And then it evolves. Some versions in some areas are extremely large battlefield versions. We typically see them being used traditionally by women as a hunting tool, and as we'll see later on, they can be used both orthodox or an ice pick grip. And then it gradually evolves to an everyday weapon, a battlefield weapon, and a close quarter fighting tool. So the curved weapon exists for a reason. When people argue that the curved blade is not effective for cutting, they're refuted by history. Culture after culture has independently designed and evolved these weapons because they are purpose-built, because they prove themselves on the battlefield, and now we're going to look at exactly why they're so effective.